We are absolutely investing in both our analytical capabilities across the organization, as well as the data management functions. And I think it's important to understand that although they're not separate, they are distinct with distinct capabilities that they provide the organization. We're embedding analytics, quite frankly, across the entire investment division. So when I say investment division, I actually include risk in that, investment risk, compliance. There's a lot of compliance factors related to trading as well as finance. So we're embedding analytics all the way through the data supply chain. We want to make sure that the data that we provide analytic users is all good quality. It's governed properly. There's business metadata or business glossaries that are available to each of the consumers of the data. So we are investing heavily both on the analytical front as well as on the data management front.
We are in a spot now that our value add is measured differently. And one of the value add that we are providing definitely is those data and clean, proper data for the decision making. So the way that I see we can actually add value from commercializing those kind of data is to build the proper customer insight. So first of all, asking the question of why are we gathering the data? And if the data is not going to specifically going to add value, considering the overhead of the data gathering, and continuous cleanup of those data available as well. I will put the focus on customer insight to help us adjust the different decisions based on the insight we are getting and hearing from customers. And to me, this is the best way of making the best of the investment on the data platform.
When I'm looking at it as well, there's the tactical side of things and there's the holistic view of the data. So from a tactical perspective, when we look at conversion rates, what the brokers, customers are coming in, those phone numbers, is that passing through to a sale? So we do look at it tactically to see what works in those specific areas, but then tracking that entire journey for be it the customer, producer, broker, and how efficient we are to service that customer through back office. So that's where we look at the different areas and try and drive those efficiencies. There are areas where, from a technical perspective, IT, we can start bringing automation into play and making things faster. We have clear objective numbers that we could see, let's say calls going from 1 minute to 45 seconds or things like that. And then we look at that entire policy journey, broker journey. And that's where we're really leveraging the data to make sure that we can get that customer attention, like you're saying, and also to get the new business sales. So that's critical for us, and it drives our decisions for technical changes on the technology roadmap and also for the product.
With respect to data and value generation, at TPA, we recognize we're way behind where we want to be. We do, however, recognize that we need our senior business leadership to align on and pay really close attention to data and how it can be used to improve our outcomes. And this area of leadership, which we can call data leadership, delivers that recognition that value from data isn't going to happen just by accident. Data leadership is really essential in coordinating the things that we need in order for the organization to use the data most effectively. And these would be things like the development of disciplines like data quality management, data warehousing, data literacy training, and then ultimately coordinating it across the whole organization and the varying programs and projects we have. I think now we effectively have a plan in place to develop our data capabilities to deliver the internal data monetization, as you mentioned, and then hopefully next year start on that external.
we manage our data, and IT is very good at managing and taking care of all the data systems and so on. But we didn't put in a plan that would allow us to bring the data closer to the business. And I think that's where our challenges are. And when we started this, we started a 3-year transformation ourselves. We're in the final year of this, is that we wanted to get a better understanding of the data delivery to our business units, because they're the ones who gather the insights. They're the ones who get the analytics and be able to move the business forward, and we can help them with that. So we started our journey in the case of almost any kind of technology initiative, is that we started to lead the initiative to say that we brought in data scientists into our IT organization to help us start to work with the business to say, hey, what are you guys looking for? What kind of analytics are you looking for? How do we want to drive more insights into your business processes and into our customers? And from there, we're actually promoting the fact that the business needs to bring in data scientists as well, because who better to understand the data than the business that's running it. So these are some of the challenges, more of a legacy way of looking at it. We were very report driven, post data driven, meaning that the data was brought together and we got the previous day's reports. Now we want to make this almost near real time for them to do assessments on the fly, and then monetize that internally, because for that, we're losing opportunities as we look at our funding and our mortgage process, is that customers start to leave us at certain periods of time. So you can get those propensities of people to stay with us or people to leave from us through analytics. And that's only done by us managing the data and providing that data to the business units to gather those insights.
I would say when we make the business plan, we usually have great outcomes we're heading for the data, but the reality is we haven't taken empathy to start. So the organization is in a state of, I would say, half done for everything. IT generally is trying to always go further, but in reality, everything's half done, and it's not. You don't really have the headroom to take on the data right now. So when you ask an organization to deliver the data insights, the data monetization, they look at it as something unachievable because they have no time for even improvement. So deliver software well first. And once you solve that, the burden level will go down. You'll have the tolerance to take on new improvements, which I kind of see as the next stage. The source of that really is DevOps. I don't really care which acronyms or terms that people use. It's basically to say I do things efficiently and I measure my inefficiency so that I can create a process so that a developer who owns the application data has a method to deliver the data to the analytics team. Doesn't matter if it's a dedicated analytics team or not. It's more of the devs who own and deliver the apps know what the needs and requirements are for the data, but first start with fixing how you deliver first and then add components to it. Otherwise, you're only adding to the halfway done. And then really the last piece is no one really knows what data they have when they start. They don't know how it's going to be monetized. They don't know who's going to buy it. They don't know how internally it's going to help them. And if that's the circumstance, make sure that when you pick your technology stack, one, it's extremely scalable, but more importantly, if you're trying to remove burden, make sure that when it scales and you adopt it, it doesn't add additional management overhead, because then you're only adding to the pile of more management overhead that the team can't manage. So you're trying to find fixed time for improvement, fix how you deliver software, pick platforms that allow you to grow with them and not add burden, and then make sure you develop your DevOps operating model. Otherwise, you're going to have serious challenges to scale.